Sigi Schmid has our local side playing great, and he also has to be thrilled to see the squad from his native country, Germany, preparing to play Argentina in the World Cup final. Sigi joins us this morning to talk a little about the World Cup, the Sounders' quest for an MLS championship, and for the humanitarian reason of reminding you to take care of your heart. That's his big cause. Coach Schmid has a heart condition and is happy to share tips about how he keeps his health under control and some advice for you. Seattle Sounders head coach Sigi Schmid, welcome to the Bob Rivers Show. How are you?
Hey, thanks very much. And I appreciate you playing that song. There's an interesting story there. It's that when they asked me at the Sounders game what song I would like them to play, so I said, let's play Marvin Gaye, What's Going On. She understood, let's get it on. And, and they played.
It's also a great song.
Which is a great song, but my wife is up in the box saying, why'd he pick that song? So it's sort of interesting. But I'm happy to be here. It's great to join you.
So are you saying your heart can't take let's get it on? No, I'm kidding.
Not quite.
But you've got everything under control, and we're going to get to that in a second. But first, let's talk a little, wow, what an exciting time this is for you. Sounders, number one in the Western Conference. You lead the standings overall in the country, right?
Yes, yeah.
And everyone says it's you. I mean, we first off, any coach now with silver hair, I think, is going to whoosh right to the front.
Every team wants one.
Yeah, if we get a basketball team, we need a guy with total white hair. You have some secrets. I know that you played soccer in college. You coached very early on in your life. So let's start with this. What's your coaching magic? What do you think is the secret of great coaching?
You know, I wish I could bottle it up and say, here's the formula, here's the recipe. If I did that, it would be great. It would be easy. But it's a lot of it is instinct. A lot of it is just feeling the situation. You know, one of the things when I went into coaching, as one of my old teammates said to me, he goes, you were always bossy even when you were a player. So I guess it was a natural to go into coaching. But, you know, being honest with your players, I think, is really important. Showing them that you're passionate about what you want, you know, what you're doing, showing them that commitment, you know, that you're going to be organized. And it's funny, coaching, it's as with anything that you do, it's about the little details. You know, if you mess up on the little details, then the big thing gets messed up.
So what I hear you kind of saying is it's not, there is no one thing. But a big part of where you started was follow your gut, because after you've done all the work, after you followed all the little details in the moment, you have to make fast decisions.
You got to make quick decisions. Yeah. And my mom always told me, you know, your first instinct is probably the correct one. Everything else is a rationalization of what you first thought.
Maybe a little second guessing too could happen.
Second guessing as well. So so you sort of follow that. You know, like last night we made a sub, and it was a little bit. The coaching staff was, I don't know, what do you think? And I said, I just feel this one. This is one we got to do right now.
Do you after a game do a sort of a postmortem, rate your performance on your own and modify your decision-making process, or do you not second-guess anything after the game?
Yeah, no, I'm all the time. I'm very critical of myself. You know, the only one who's more critical is my wife. She's very critical of me. But no, you look at it and you say, could I have done this differently? Could I have done that differently? But also going into a game, I try and play through the scenarios in my mind. I'm saying, okay, if this guy gets hurt, how are you going to replace this? If this guy's not playing well, how are you going to make that move? Can you make a one-to-one move? Do you have to move a couple of people to make that happen? So you play those scenarios through before the game, so when it happens in the game, it's not a first-time thought.
Now, this is the year. I mean, this should be the championship year.
No pressure, right?
No pressure.
How's your heart?
What I wanted to relate to the Seahawks a little bit. How they seemed to do it. First off, a lot of the same fundamentals and firing on all cylinders that you mentioned. But they also had an attitude. Why not us? They had a kind of a mission statement that you know, a lot of people think, oh, that we're not quite there yet, and people might think that about Seattle and soccer too. So what's your positive message for people cheering for a championship? Because Seahawks weren't afraid to say, we're going for it.
Yeah, you know, and I think we're at that point as well. And I think the character of our team, has grown by leaps and bounds. Our ability this year to come back in games, we've come back in a lot of games. But at the end of last season, we were all disappointed. And the day after our last game, Clint Dempsey, myself, and Brad Evans, and Oswaldo Alonso, who I felt were the three real leaders of our team going into this season, we sat down and we talked for about 3 hours and talked about what we're going to do this year. And I think our attitude, our determination, a little bit of that swagger,
got to
is
have a little,
part of the team.
And by the way, that upsets the other people who go, because then they start talking about you more, which I think is good. They start getting you into their head if you have a little swagger. Yes, Joe.
The World Cup has put, obviously, soccer on everybody's television. People that never cared about soccer a month ago are watching. The U.S. squad, the two best players are Seattle Sounders. Now they're coming back to be Seattle Sounders again. Do you think that the Sounders, now that there's people that didn't care about soccer a bit, that live in Tennessee or whatever, do you think the Sounders might become kind of like America's team just because we really have the two most prominent stars going right now?
Yeah, I think, there's definitely recognition that falls to our team. Clint Dempsey was on the Letterman show last night.
Good Morning America today.
Yeah, Good Morning America. I think he's supposed to be on today as well. So, he brings some of that. And DeAndre Yedlin, certainly, he was the first. Every MLS team has what they call an academy system and academy teams. He's the first academy player to play on the World Cup team. And so that speaks well, for all the kids in this area. They know that, hey, if I work hard and I play well, I can get to the Sounders, and from there I can get onto the national team. I mean, 18 months ago, is when he turned pro, and then he's playing in a World Cup. So I think definitely the recognition for Seattle has been enhanced by the World Cup experience.
And DeAndre, with local ties, still is a global commodity. I mean, Italy. Do you worry about keeping a guy like that here? Do you think that he'll want to stay because it's because of a favorite espresso stand or something?
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah,
there's definitely some offers coming in, and
they have espresso in Italy too. Damn,
No, they don't.
They don't have O'Day.
That's true. There's no O'Day High School, but he, he's got offers coming in. I know his agents are looking at that. We're looking at it as a club, and what we want to do is make a right decision for the club, but also make the right decision for DeAndre, because we're a club that believes very much so in doing what's right for our players. We traded a player away, 2 years ago, who wanted to go back home to be nearer to his family because the family situation wasn't something we wanted to do. But we're always a club that's very cognizant of our players' needs.
Sigi Schmid. Sigi, does anybody ever call you Siegfried? Or is
Only
that
my
just
mother.
Mother, driver's license, tax return, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You have a heart condition. And I read it's electrical in nature. It's probably not preventable. It's just something. But it made you just become more heart aware. And as most great people who coach or play at a high level in a community who have a pulpit do, you've chosen heart health as your cause. Tell me what you learned that made you decide that. What did you see? Maybe the most opportunity to help people, or?
Well, an opportunity to help people. I'm very fortunate in that as hard things are described, it's always plumbing or electrical. Mm-hmm. So my plumbing is okay, which is a good thing. But the electrical side, I got first diagnosed in 2004 with an arrhythmia. Had an ablation surgery, which put me into a regular rhythm again until about 2008, 2009. I don't have the best profession probably for hearts.
No, you're in this extremely high pressure, tense situation. Did they tell you to quit soccer, and did you tell them, how about if I just do some public service announcement?
I said we'll do the public service announcements. I couldn't quit soccer, but I'm also very fortunate in that my heart rate is always in the low 60s and so forth. I don't have a racing heart in that extreme, but certainly being able to eat better is something that became very important. I became very aware of what I need to do. Obviously, I'm still overweight. I can't say I'm not overweight. I am overweight, and that's something I need to do better with, that I haven't done well with. But I do try and eat the right things. Weight has always been a problem.
You want to get
for a
rid of
long
that
time.
weight? I'll tell you how, buddy. I'm serious.
How do we do it?
I've lost 75 pounds this year. So I'll tell you how to do that.
That's tremendous.
It's a beautiful baby girl. She's at home right now.
He does crack.
And you talk about cholesterol, diabetes, tobacco that's bad for your heart. I thought it was bad for your lungs. It's also one of the worst things for your heart.
Yeah, definitely, because it affects everything, when you're smoking and so forth. And luckily, I've never smoked, so that's been something that's been very good in my life. But
some things you can't avoid are penalty kicks. Did you get to watch yesterday, Argentina? And how do you take the stress of these moments? Do you zen? Do you calm yourself down? How do you protect yourself?
Well, stress is there. It would have been more stressful for me if Germany went to penalty
There you
kicks.
go.
But
They made it easy on you.
Exactly, they made it easy on me for sure. But what you try and do is monitor yourself. I take my blood pressure on a regular basis. I'm fortunate being on a team. There's always trainers. There's always doctors around. So take care of that. You'd like to get always at a point where you're taking as little medication as possible.
Right.
So the better you take care of yourself off the field, the more conscious decisions you make that are good decisions for your life as to how you live your life, exercising on a regular basis, which it's hard to believe I do that all the time. You don't get a body like this without doing that. It's something though, but you try and incorporate all those things and make them part of your lifestyle.
Right.
You live in Bellevue, but you also have a home in California, right?
Yes.
And do you you get to be here obviously for our nicest weather, right?
Definitely.
And then you're in California during the off season.
The very short off season it exists. Because we're really going to end of November, and then in December we have some things to do to prepare for the draft.
Right.
So basically, it's the last 2 weeks in December. The first week in January is when I get to my home in Manhattan Beach. But I really love Seattle. Seattle's always been, in all the years I coached and traveled, it was always one of the places I said, this is one of the places I could live at. And
you
be
actually
happy
thought
with.
of living here long before.
Yeah, it was always a place that I liked. My brother lives up here as well. Rain for me is not that big an issue. I don't mind it. My mom always made rain days fun in Southern California. We didn't have a lot of rain days, but
You would
coming
look
from
forward
Germany,
to rain.
We look forward to rain. She'd always make it like, hey, today's a fun day. We can do this. We can do that.
Well,
that's different.
It won't be raining this weekend, but there
No.
will be a reason to sit inside and watch TV.
Definitely. There's a
Yeah.
World Cup final.
You will be rooting for Argentina, I hear, because you've made friends with Pedro. No, maybe not. You will be rooting for Germany, of course, and Pedro will be rooting for Argentina. Just between the two of you, I'd love to hear the argument for each side. For you from an expert opinion, Pedro from a thinks he's an expert opinion.
My problem is now that I know about the heart condition, I feel really bad, terrible that we're going to beat Germany on Monday. I don't want to affect you in any way or form because I love the Sounders, but it's going to happen. You know that, Ziggy. We're gonna beat Germany. I mean, we've been waiting for this moment. I don't know if you know this, Bob, but we lost the finals in 1990 against Germany. Because, the referee was probably paid or blind because there was a penalty that wasn't.
So as you can see, he's got all the deep analysis of any fan holding a beer in one hand and a flag in another. Sigi, what's your take on this game?
Well, 1990 was a very well-taken penalty by Breme to win that game.
Legitimate penalty. That's okay.
You're a player. But, I think right now in this World Cup, I think Germany's played very well. They have a lot of offensive weapons. They've got a lot of depth on their team. Actually, they're probably their best attacking player. Got injured right before the tournament. They were able to sustain that and move forward. I think the coach has made some good decisions. And obviously, when you beat Brazil in Brazil 7-1, you're pretty confident going into that. So I'll be at home watching that game and watching Germany win, and then want all the fans to get to the Portland game.
Whipping on Portland Sunday after that.
Whip it on Portland, yeah. All right, congratulations on an amazing dream season so far, and take it all the way.
Thanks very much. I appreciate it, and thanks for having me on this morning.
Sigi Schmid, ladies and gentlemen. 8:56.